Bonjour and welcome, viewers and students, to Let's Speak French, Parlons Français. These lessons on basic French are short and easy, and if you follow the program regularly, I can assure you that very soon you will be able to understand French quite easily. Today we are going to begin the 6th chapter of the program. This chapter is divided into 5 lessons. Today's class will be on the compound past tense of verbs with avoir. This lesson has been divided into 3 sections. In the first section, I will read out a French text in which all the verbs are used in the compound past tense. Then in the next section, I will explain all about this tense, how it is constructed and when it is used. And finally, in the third section, we will do an exercise to revise what we learned in today's session. We'll begin the lesson with a French text. This text consists of a dialogue that takes place between co-workers. One of them has barely slept the whole night and is unable to stay awake. Une nuit blanche. Ursula. Comme je suis fatiguée aujourd'hui, j'ai très mal dormi hier. Yvonne. Moi aussi, j'ai passé une nuit blanche. J'ai siroté 7 tasses de café pendant la journée. Mais tu ne prends pas du café. Alors qu'est-ce qui t'a empêché de dormir? Ursula. Les jeunes qui habitent en face de chez moi. Ils ont fêté l'anniversaire d'un ami. Ils ont joué la musique toute la nuit. Ils ont aussi allumé des pétards. Yvonne. Oh, quelle horreur! Ursula. Mais ce n'est pas tout. Quoi? Yvonne. Qu'est-ce que tu as encore enduré? Ursula. Le bruit qu'ils ont fait a perturbé les chiens du quartier et ils ont commencé à aboyer. C'est seulement le matin, quand mon réveil a sonné, que ces chiens ont arrêté les aboiements. Yvonne. Tu as de la chance. On travaille seulement jusqu'à midi aujourd'hui. Tu peux dormir toute l'après-midi. Ursula. Oui, c'est vrai. So this was a short text where many of the verbs have been conjugated in the compound past tense. In the next section, I will explain to you what the compound past tense is. I will also show you how to construct this tense and I'll indicate its usage. When learning a language, it is important to understand that each language has its own set of rules and particularities. The French language, for instance, has a number of tenses that either don't exist in English or don't have a literal translation. The French indicative mood has 4 compound tenses. One of these, le passé composé, known as the compound past, is the only one to have an equivalent in English. But even here, the equivalent isn't exact. There are many rules typical of the French language that need to be observed, and that is why it is not always possible to find a literal translation. For more information regarding this, please refer to the FAQ section. Now let's begin with the construction of the compound past in French. This tense is composed of 2 distinct elements, hence its name. The first element is the auxiliary verb avoir and the second is the main verb. In the compound past, the auxiliary verb avoir is always conjugated in the present tense. This is followed by the past participle of the main verb. In the previous class, we touched upon the present participle. The participle is an impersonal mood, like the gerund, which is not conjugated. It has 2 tenses, the present participle and the past participle. The present participle functions as an adjective and, like all adjectives, it agrees with the gender and the number of the noun it modifies. The past participle can be used in two different ways. The past participle can function as an adjective, in which case it agrees with the gender and the number of the noun it modifies. Let me give you an example of a past participle functioning as an adjective.
Je lis une œuvre écrite par Victor Hugo.
I read a novel written by Victor Hugo. Je lis un roman écrit par Victor Hugo. I read a work written by Victor Hugo. In the first sentence, the past participle of the verb écrire modifies a masculine noun, roman. And in the second sentence, the past participle of the verb écrire modifies a feminine noun, œuvre. These two sentences were examples of the past participle functioning as an adjective. Now let me show you the other function of the past participle. This second function is important for today's lesson. It is the past participle that is used in the construction of the compound past tense. The first component is the auxiliary verb avoir conjugated in the present tense. The second component is the past participle of the main verb. This form remains invariable. There are a few grammatical situations where the past participle changes, but we will examine them later as we proceed with the lessons. Let me now use the same verb écrire and illustrate the construction of the compound past tense. J'ai écrit une lettre à mes parents. Il a écrit une lettre à ses parents. Nous avons écrit une lettre à nos parents. Vous avez écrit une lettre à vos parents. As you can see, the auxiliary verb avoir has been conjugated in the present tense. To do it, we add the past participle of the main verb. The past participle of the main verb remains invariable. It's easy to remember the past participle of most verbs since they have a standard form. All first group verbs end with e accent aigu, arriver, manger, parler, etc. All second group verbs end with I, accompli, choisi, fini, etc. And most third group verbs end with U, S or T. Entendre, entendu, apprendre, appris, conduire, conduit. The auxiliary verb is always placed before the past participle. Sometimes an adverb can be placed between the two components of the past compound. For example, j'ai bien dormi. I slept well. Bien is the adverb that modifies the verb dormir. It explains how the subject slept. If the adverb is short, it is generally placed before the past participle. But if the adverb is long, it comes after the past participle. For example, j'ai dormi profondément. I slept soundly. Now that we know how to construct the compound past, let me show you when to use it. The indicative mood has 8 tenses, 5 of which are past tenses. And among these 5 past tenses, the compound past tense is the most frequently used. One generally uses this tense in the oral. When used in writing, the compound past can express one of the following: an action completed in the past which occurred at a precise moment. La semaine dernière, j'ai téléphoné ma mère. Last week, I telephoned my mother. In this sentence, the moment when the action occurred has been indicated, la semaine dernière, which translates as last week. Additionally, the action of telephoning my mother is completed. It isn't an action that is being continued. In the text, we have several such examples. I've picked up 3 of them. Notice how the moment when the action occurred has been indicated. J'ai très mal dormi hier. I slept extremely badly yesterday. C'est seulement le matin quand mon réveil a sonné. It's only in the morning when my alarm rang. B. A repetitive action that occurred in the past. J'ai téléphoné ma mère plusieurs fois. I telephoned my mother many times. In this sentence, the moment when the action occurs isn't indicated. However, we know it's an action that has happened in the past. What is important is the indication of the repetition. Plusieurs fois, which translates as many times, is the key phrase here. In the text, we have 2 such examples. Note how the repetitiveness has been expressed. J'ai siroté 7 tasses de café pendant la journée. I sipped 7 cups of coffee all day long. Ils ont joué la musique toute la nuit. They played the music all night long. C. A series of actions completed in the past. J'ai téléphoné ma mère et on a beaucoup parlé et rigolé. I telephoned my mother and we chatted and laughed a lot. In this sentence, parler and rigoler are 2 successive actions that are both completed. The compound past is used to express a succession of actions which, whether in spoken or written French, don't necessarily have to follow one another in the same sentence. The idea of a sequence of different actions is what the compound past indicates. In the text, we have an example where the different actions that occurred during the party have been listed out. Ils ont fêté l'anniversaire d'un ami, ils ont joué la musique, ils ont aussi allumé des pétards. They celebrated a friend's birthday, they played music, they also lit firecrackers. So these are the 3 usages of compound past. Before we proceed to the next section and revise what we learned today, let me summarize the lesson for you. The compound past is one of the 5 past tenses that belongs to the indicative mood. It is the most commonly used past tense. 3 things characterize this tense, such as the repetitiveness of the verb, the precise moment the verb occurred, as well as the successions of actions. 2 elements are required in the construction of the compound past. The auxiliary verb avoir, conjugated in the present tense, followed by the past participle of the main verb. An important thing regarding the construction is the invariability of the past participle. This form does not change according to the number and the gender of the subject. In this 3rd section, we will revise what we learned in today's session on the compound past. A short exercise has been provided below. We need to complete the 5 sentences by conjugating the verb given within the brackets in the compound past. Ce matin, nous étudions quelques poètes du 19e siècle. The first person plural of avoir in the present tense is avons. And since étudier is a first group verb, its past participle will be étudier. Hence, the answer is ce matin, nous avons étudié quelques poètes du 19e siècle. This sentence translates as this morning we studied some 19th century poets. Elle choisir une belle robe pour son mariage. The third person plural of avoir in the present tense is a, and since choisir is a second group verb, its past participle will be choisi. Hence, the answer is elle a choisi une belle robe pour son mariage. This sentence translates as She has selected a beautiful dress for her wedding. Tu apprendre bien la leçon. The second person singular of avoir in the present tense is a. Apprendre is a third group verb and its past participle is appris. Bien is a short adverb and so it will be placed before the main verb. Hence the answer is Tu as bien appris la leçon. This sentence translates as You have learned the lesson well. Je entendre des bruits dans le grenier. The first person singular of avoir in the present tense is a. Entendre is a third group verb and its past participle is entendu. Hence the answer is J'ai entendu des bruits dans le grenier. This sentence translates as I heard some noises in the attic. Vous conduire vos enfants à l'école hier? The second person plural of avoir in the present tense is avez. Conduire is a third group verb and its past participle is conduit. Hence the answer is Vous avez conduit vos enfants à l'école hier? This sentence translates as Did you drive your children to school yesterday? With this we come to the end of our first lesson. This lesson was divided into 3 sections. In the first section, I read out a French text in which all the verbs are used in the compound past tense. In the second section, I explained the construction and usage of the compound past. And finally, in the third section, we revised today's lesson by doing an exercise. I hope you enjoyed today's session. In the next class, we'll continue with the compound past tense. More specifically, we'll learn how to use the negation with this tense. I hope to see you in the next class. Thank you and à bientôt. See you soon.